Hello, I'm István and I'm behind the name Origami Around. In the last few months I was quite busy working on an interesting project, a paper bridal bouquet and a matching boutonnière for the wedding of my friends. Let me tell you, it was quite a journey. In this video I will show you how we designed it from start to finish. I will share with you some hopefully useful tips if you want to make your own paper bridal bouquet for yourself. Basically, I will tell you what we have learned during the making of the paper flowers. Let's get started. So a few months ago, the bride Tori approached me asking if I could help her make and design her bridal bouquet entirely out of paper. And I like the challenge because so far I mostly made single paper flowers or just small paper plants. But this time what was needed? A whole big bushy spectacular bunch of them. So I said yes. She already had the color palette in her head and she knew one thing for sure, that she wanted something similar to forget-me-nots in the bouquet because the small blue flowers appeared on basically everything related to the wedding, on the menus, on the invitation cards, in her bridal tiara and even among the cute gifts for the guests. Believe it or not, by the way, these were all designed and made by the bride herself. Yes, she's creative. I knew right away that I also want to turn this project into a video series. First, I made the tutorials, the step-by-step guides for the flowers that we chose. Here I have the prototypes in my hands. Two different types of rose design, smaller and bigger ones, and the forget-me-nots. If you are interested in making them, you can watch my tutorials by clicking the card in the top right corner or find the link in the description down below. At the end of the video, I will show you some of the official wedding photos, obviously with the finished bridal bouquet, so stay tuned. But before that, let me take you through the making. First, let's see what are the advantages of having a paper bridal bouquet. 1. You can keep it forever, and in my humble opinion, that's the most important one. 2. If you make your own paper bridal bouquet, that is quite an experience that will stay with you forever. And at the ceremony, you can carry around proudly the work of your own two hands. 3. The end result will be completely unique and special. When it comes to the design, the only limit is your imagination. It can be exactly the color, the shape and size you can dream of. 4. It's not expensive, although the overall cost largely depends on the paper and materials you will use. Let's see disadvantages. 1. And once again I'm starting with the biggest one. You will hate to hear this, but it is time consuming, yes. Preparing all the paper flowers takes quite a lot of time. I only recommend it to the most persistent. 2. The second and the last one of the disadvantages. The combination of paper and wire adds some weight to your bouquet. It's not something that you can carry around, but it's worth being prepared for that it can be a bit heavier than expected. I also wouldn't recommend at all tossing a bouquet like this to the single ladies at the ceremony because it could end up with personal injuries. Yikes. For the colors, Dori chose different shades of blue combined with white. In terms of flowers, It was important to choose ones that were easy and relatively quick to prepare, as we needed a lot of them to make a bouquet of impressive size. First, I made the prototypes to see how the selected designs would look next to each other and what size they would be worth making to create a harmonious end result. In sizing, we tried to use paper as efficiently as we could because we wanted to waste as little as possible. At the beginning, we even considered the traditional lily design, but in the end we abandoned this idea and opted only for the forget-me-nots and the roses. The papers were bought at a local paper shop. What we have used was a little thicker than average. See, for origami, 80-gram and thinner papers are best, but we bought 100-gram papers. This makes folding a bit more difficult, and you will definitely have more calluses at the end of your fingertips. But the end result will be much more stable, which is not such a big price to pay. The bride and I made the flowers together, taking a couple of months. Altogether we made 30 small forget-me-not flowers, folded from 4.5 cm squares, and 2 types of roses were made. Large ones with 3 layers of 15 petals and smaller ones with 2 layers of 8 petals. Altogether we made 27 bigger roses and 10 smaller ones. The petals for the roses were folded from 4.5 by 9 cm rectangles. Let me show you how many petals we had to fold, and this is not even all of them, just about a third. We also wanted to have green in the bouquet. In my older tutorial video, I folded green traditional lilies as the sepals for these roses. But this time that was out of the question for 3 reasons. It was too time-consuming for us in this case, and the paper was just too thick. And most importantly, the end result would have been too small, literally invisible in the bouquet. So we needed a solution that is easy to make and forms leaves tall enough to stand out among the roses. In my related rose tutorial video, I also show you how to fold these easy leaves. Now, if you are wondering how long it took us to make all these flowers, that is hard to answer. But let me tell you that I watched tons of anime, movies and all the Mandalorian episodes while making the flowers. A single rose from cutting the paper, folding, gluing and wiring together with the leaves takes about 1 to 2 hours, depending on how fast and well practiced you are. I would say it's best to start planning your paper bouquet a few months before the wedding to make sure you get it done in time. It can help to speed up the process, for example, if you have a paper cutter to cut the paper to size. I also recommend using clips or clothes pegs and rubber bands to fix the flowers while they dry, so you don't have to hold them and wait. And you can try to get some extra help from friends and family if they are willing. In our case, we had Doris' cat, Marzipan, to cheer us on while we were working. For the boutonnière, I made forget-me-nots in the very same size as in the bouquet and a tiny rose from the leftover paper. I also added 4 long green leaves behind them. You can find my leaf folding video by clicking the card in the top right corner, or there is a link in the description. Compared to the tutorial video, I changed one thing. I did not fold veins on the leaves this time because of the thickness of the paper. When everything was ready, it was time to put together the bouquet, which I admit I was quite afraid of, since, as I said, it was the first large bouquet I had ever made. We used floral tape to secure the bottom part. After that, we placed the forget-me-nots as evenly as possible among the roses. The wires were twisted together to make the whole thing more stable, and we also made sure there were no wire ends sticking out, and then we used another coat of floral tape to secure the final result. In the end, we covered it with blue light linen ribbon, wrapped it tightly, and used a glue gun to secure it. Drum rolls, please. Here is the finished paper bridal bouquet in all its glory. Huge thanks to Mad Mood, the photographers, for allowing me to use their photos in the video. Check their website, link in the description. I can say without exaggeration that everyone loved it. But most importantly, my newlywed friends loved it, and they kept it as a reminder of their big day. If you liked the video, please support me with a like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment and tell us about your dream bridal bouquet. Please understand that I do not take commissions. I would rather make these tutorial videos and help everyone making their own paper flowers. You can also support me on Patreon or on Ko-fi if you have the opportunity. On Patreon I also share behind the scenes photos, early access extra content from time to time. Use the hashtag ORIGAMIRound if you make any of my designs, because I like to share them on Instagram with a mention. Thanks for watching, have fun folding!